What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. Today we are back for a Western Conference second round playoff series preview and predictions. Today we are taking a look at the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. This is going to be the second time that these two teams are meeting up in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and one of these teams won the Stanley Cup the last time these teams matched up in the second round. Could we see history maybe repeat itself here in 2025? We're going to discuss that in today's video. All right, so the Edmonton Oilers, quite a first round matchup against the Los Angeles Kings. It did not look like it was going to be a series win for the Golden Knights or for the Oilers early on. They were down 2-1 in this series at one point, and things did not look good. It looked like, oh shoot, they figured out Stuart Skinner, and this might be a quick series against the Oilers, and the favorites might be knocked out. That did not ultimately happen. They ended up rattling off 3 straight victories to win that series in 6 games. Really stunning, that series. A couple of games that were really deflating for Kings fans, and the Oilers were able to come back. There was a couple games where they should not have won that game, but they were able to find a way. And in the Stanley Cup playoffs, your best players have to show up. McDavid and Draisaitl did in that series, and they are going to do that in this series as well. It's only a matter of time. It might not happen in game 1. It might not happen in game 2, but it will happen. And when it does, watch out, Golden Knights, because they got a lot of star power up top in Edmonton. So they ended up winning their series. For the Vegas Golden Knights, a little bit of an interesting story here because that series pretty much went the way that I expected. I actually predicted the way that series was going to go. I think Minnesota put up a lot better fight than maybe people expected. But to be honest, we knew like they were a good team going down the stretch through that first week of February into March into April. Like they were playing fairly well. So it's not the craziest thing that they made the playoffs, but Vegas ended up winning that series in 6 games over the Wild. So yeah, looking at the matchup between these two teams heading into this series, 2023 was the only other time these teams met in the playoffs. It was a second round matchup, and the Vegas Golden Knights, that was on their route to winning their first ever Stanley Cup. So, could we see history repeat itself for the Golden Knights, or could we see the Oilers, who win this series, maybe end up winning their Stanley Cup as kind of revenge? Honestly, I like, no discredit to Winnipeg and Dallas, but I think the way Dallas is banged up right now and the way Winnipeg somehow miraculously came back to win that series over the Blues, I think the winner of this series ends up going to the Cup final. And that's why I would predict right now, if I was looking with what we saw in the first round of the playoffs, that could change tomorrow. But from what I see right now, I really like the winner of the Vegas-Edmonton series and the winner of the Toronto-Florida series. I think those 4 teams legitimately will be in the final. Like, I'm not, I still have my prediction that Carolina would win the Cup, but from what I saw in the first round, definitely impressed with what I saw from especially Vegas, because there was no real scare from Minnesota. Like, this was a series that was won in 6 games, but Vegas had control of this series. They really did. And Edmonton, it took them a minute to get going because they were down 2-1 in this series, but once they got going, that was it. There was no stopping that freight train. And that's what's concerning about the Oilers, is once they got going, the Kings had no answers. But I do think against the Golden Knights, I think the Golden Knights will have more answers for the Edmonton Oilers than what we saw from the Kings. So the only injury for the Golden Knights right now, so Pavel Dorofeyev is listed as injured. He leads the team in power play goals, and he's one of the leaders for points on the team. He's one of the leading goal scorers, so he'll be out. That's kind of a big loss. For the Oilers, the only real loss that they have here is Mattias Ekholm. He has an undisclosed injury. We're not really sure what's happening. Sounds like he's making progress, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be in this second round series. So injuries on both sides. A defenseman on the Oilers and a pretty big forward up front for the Golden Knights. So looking at both of these teams, they both have a little bit of bumps and bruises going into this series. Now, in terms of what we expect to see, um, just overall from both of these teams going into the postseason, you knew the guys that were going to make a difference. For the Edmonton Oilers, it's no real surprise that obviously McDavid and Draisaitl are the front runners of this team, but don't count out guys like Evan Bouchard, who are having a pretty good series in their own right, and the rest of this team. They just, like I said, this is a different kind of Oilers team from what we've seen, and that's why the last couple of years they've been a team that goes on deep playoff runs, because they have a different makeup. It's not just Draisaitl and McDavid, and that has to continue in this series. I think the Golden Knights are really going to test the rest of this team, because I think they're just going to do everything they can to shut down Draisaitl and McDavid. And if it takes all the resources to do that, if the Golden Knights win, if the Oilers win this series, we just don't want it to be those two. Force somebody else to step up and win the series, whether that's a Victor Arvidsson or a Zach Hyman or any of those guys. Just don't let those two score. And easier said than done. It takes almost moving, heaven and earth to do that. But I think that's what the Golden Knights are going to try to do in this series. Both sides have a lot of guys that can be a little bit difficult to play against. For lack of a better word, you have Evander Kane in there. Like I said, Trent Frederick, Hyman, Connor Brown. Those guys aren't the most fun to play against. And Corey Perry, especially playoff level Corey Perry, not fun to play against in the playoffs. And then a similar story for the Golden Knights. I think what's interesting about this matchup that I think maybe favors the Golden Knights is the goaltending. I know that we like what we've seen from Stuart Skinner the rest of the series, but in terms of head-to-head goaltending, I slightly lean toward Vegas. Both teams have pretty decent goaltending. No goaltending that's really going to steal a series like maybe a Connor Hellebuck could. I know. That's a funny goaltender to use, but you get what I'm saying. Or let's use a better example. A Jake Ottinger could come in and steal a game or two in this series, right? Neither of these goaltenders are really that level or capable of really doing that, at least not what we've seen so far. So I think this is the type of series where you're going to see a lot of maybe, 3-2, 4-3 games. And if that's the score, either team can win those games. I don't think there's any situation where one team is completely favored over the other. I mean, notoriously, the Oilers, when they get into those high-scoring affairs, they tend to win those again, because if things are flying around, there's a lot of ice and a lot of room to skate. That means a lot of room and a lot more opportunity for McDavid and Draisaitl to put on their show. And that's what you don't want. You want to avoid that at all costs. So if that's the case, I think that's definitely going to favor a team like the Oilers in terms of just a back and forth scoring shootout. It's going to favor the Oilers. With that said, though, I think both of these teams very capable of going on a deep playoff run past this round. Obviously, they'd be getting themselves to the conference finals winning this series. So with that said, I think as of today, from what we've seen, I am going to side with the Oilers in this series. It's a tough one to pick. This is not an easy series, and I'm very back and forth on this one, because I think Vegas has a really good defense and they have a really good team. I don't know against Minnesota, there was a little bit more resilience. We saw the resilience from Edmonton in that first round series a couple of times. I don't know if Vegas has seen that yet. And what will they do in a situation if they are down 2-1 in this series? Are they going to be able to come back? I don't know about that. I'm more confident that Edmonton can do it, because in this playoffs, they've already done that before. They can do it again, right? So it's a tough one to pick, but I'm going to go with Edmonton in 6. I hope this goes to 7, because this is a great series overall. Watching these two teams again, I remember that one in 2023. It was a great series. I'm looking forward to this one as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Who do you guys think is going to win this second round matchup and go back to the Western Conference Final? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.